education sector of Liberia is completely messy. Those were words from Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former president of Liberia. That statement became a challenge to the education sector of Liberia. How did it get messy? Who is able and ready to lead the campaign for the cleaning of this so-called messy sector? After the inauguration of President George Manning Weah, Professor Dao Ansu Soni was appointed as the Minister of Education. Hence, Professor Soni's team and partners have been working to deliver the mandate of the President by improving this sector.
I believe in my best judgment that from the perspective of the Ministry of Education, there has been a significant transformation in the sector. We have managed to take it away from what used to be referred to as messy to a place far distant from anything that will ever be termed as messy.
One of the significant tools that is changing the messy narrative of the education sector of Liberia is the annual Joint Education Sector Review, JESR. The JESR is a gathering of those in the education sector to review the activities of the previous year. Welcome to the JESR 2022.
Good morning and welcome to the Joint Education Sector Review held at this time. And I'm your MC, Fred Eto Yeni. We will now take welcome remarks from Honorable M.O.E Jesr, City Mayor, Gompa City, Nima County.
On behalf of the people of Gompa, we would like to welcome you to Gompa City. Feel free as we work together. Thank you very much. God bless you.
I am Honorable Pharmacist Joseph Nyansonwabe, a ranking member of the Committee on Education at the level of the House of Representatives and standing in the capacity to proceed for our chair, Honorable Mariam Fofana.
We are indeed grateful to be invited to this very important occasion because we do believe that higher education should be in partner with the Ministry of Education to deliver all that you want to deliver.
As the highest layer of education management in this country, it is our duty to partner with the Ministry of Education at all times in finding the way forward for the development of education in this country.
USAID is a very strong stakeholder in the education sector in Liberia.
So I bring you greeting from Minister Tue and Minister Bronson, who is my immediate boss, and because of the critical nature of the work we do, they are busy, and in fact we're trying to prepare now 2022 budget.
Today I would like to say thank you to the President of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. George Manning Weah, under whose administration I was awarded as the National Best Teacher.
My name is M.O.E Jesr, and I run the Liberia National Spelling Bee.
2 years ago, we were in Banga, City, Bon County, on the ESR. And I'm quite aware that some of those things that were identified have been worked on as a result of all of us working together to transform education.
GPE has been a long partner to the government of Liberia beginning from 2010 when the GPE was initially the Catalytic Fund, the Fast Track Initiative. Over the years, GPE has made several investments, beginning with the GPE Basic Education Project. That was a 40 million grant in 2010, supported the government of Liberia, and currently we have the Getting the Best Education Project, over 10 million grant, and also the Liberia Learning Foundations Project, over 5 million grant as well.
Honorable Minister, the directors present, the various ministries present. We want to start by thanking you very much, the ministry, for reaching this important day when we have the Joint Education Sector Review. It's a very important event for us in the UN. And we want to start by congratulating the ministry, first of all, for achieving a key milestone, which is the establishment of the Education Sector Plan, which gives us very clear roadmap where we are to go the next couple of years.
Chakonta, Senior TVET Coordinator from UNIDO, representing the Chief Technical Advisor and Project Manager. We want to say thank you for the invitation of UNIDO to participate in this joint annual review, but at the same time also congratulate the Honorable Minister and his team for maintaining the culture of this consultation every year.
Distinguished guests, I am pleased to represent Save the Children at this important event.
On behalf of the Country Director of Action Aid Liberia, Madam Elizabeth Bar Johnson, we would like to congratulate the Ministry of Education on convening this Joint Education Sector Review.
I bring greetings from the management of Plan International, Liberia, and we are very grateful to be part of this all-important meeting.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Minister. Thank you so much for inviting the World Food Program to this all-important occasion. Bring you greetings from the Country Director, Dr. Aliu Dijong, and he says thank you so much for honoring the good work that WFP has been doing in Liberia.
My name is Precious Buxton, the Managing Director of Rising Academy. I want to say thank you to the ministry for getting all the partners together today to just share ideas and share what we're doing in the sectors. So often some of us inside those, we're doing the same thing but are not too aware of what's happening. So this is our time to get together and just share what we're doing and network with each other.
Status of the education sector performance was disclosed by Minister Soni.
Today marks another significant relevance in the pathway to transforming education designed to create a literate society, one that shall serve all citizens, residents of our country, regardless of one's persuasion, location, or circumstance. The recent National Conference on Education in November 2022 reminded us once again of the urgency to deliver education like never before. It is my duty as the most senior education officer in the Republic, other than the presidency, not to relent in my advocacy to lift education above all else on the development agenda of our esteemed country. Failing which, the dividend accruable to a nation whose human capital is substantially advanced shall either escape us or be slow in coming. The age of Liberia cannot afford to wait beyond 2030, being still engaged in a continuous battle with one of the greatest enemies of man, illiteracy. My expectation as the Minister of Education and a senior citizen of this country, Liberia needs to accelerate its action on human capital growth and development to be counted with the 16 countries by 2032. Failing which, we must wait until the 7th cycle in 2042. Folks, for us who have seen a little bit of the sun, I want to encourage you who are seeing the sun rise to ensure that working together brings possibilities that never would have been imagined. When it comes to country, for me, parties don't matter. When it comes to country, for me, individuals don't really matter. When it comes to country,
the collective initiative of the people will bring the desired change that we want. In the absence of that, we shall always speak. Of course, we can speak. Liberians, we can speak. We know how to speak. We stand here speaking for the next 3 hours and never get tired, you find words. But those speeches are only speeches. Those speeches are only an expression of intentions. Are those intentions can they be converted? And if they can, why not yet? On behalf of the education sector, to which all of us belong, and all of us who have come from far and near, and those who are listening to us virtually, I am pleased to represent you, standing in the gap between the sector and leadership of this country.
The keynote address and official opening was done by the Vice President of Liberia, Madam Jewel Howard Taylor.
Education today remains the heartbeat of government. We realize that it is the fulcrum of national development and growth. And that is why in 2018, the mantra, power to the people. This manifesto of the PAPD was a testament of our government's priority towards human development and capacity building. I'm happy to say that it is a commitment to which we have prioritized and have spent a lot of our resources and time, which is fruits of your labor. Before I go further, permit me a moment to recognize all of our development partners who have remained committed and have given consistent support to this government and to the people of Liberia towards the delivery of quality and accessible and affordable education for all. Can we clap for our partners, please? Thank you. In closing, permit me to leave you with a significant, inspiring quotation from one of Africa's best, in person of Madiba Nelson Mandela, who said, and I quote, "Education is the most powerful tool with which you can use to change your world."
During the review, there were over 15 presentations and panel discussions from different parts of the sector, followed by questions and answers. But the Liberian Education Statistic Report 2019 to 2022 school data for optimal results from the Department of Planning, Research and Development at the Ministry of Education was highlighted.
Students are not learning, but how do you know students are not learning? You should have the data. Students are not in school. How do you know students are not in the school? You should know the actual number. Another important thing for the data is that you should create a feedback loop to have every stakeholder engage with the process and engage knowledgeable from a knowledge point of view, not just engage because you have energy, you know how to talk, or you want to be an advocate. You should be engaged based on information, concrete information. For the data to be of any use, it has to be accurate. So if you say you have to know, if you have 10 students and you say 5, that's bad data. It won't be speaking to the fact. So the data have to be accurate. With that said, we can quickly move to a summary of what we have. And so we'll be using the 2019-2020, which was our first data we collected of the 3 as our baseline. In our data, we have about 6,296 schools in the entire country. By the time we did the data the next year, 2020-2021, we see that the number have increased by 15 additional schools to 6,311. By the time we did the recent data, we realized that it had dropped a little. We moved over to in terms of ownership. So as I said, our schools are divided on the basis of ownership. So we have a community, faith-based, private, and public. So you can also see the trend there. So if you look at the number of community schools, dropped by 42 schools, 13%. While we look at the number of 60,000, 70,000, the real issue is how many of them are qualified. Now, trained and untrained. So to be trained, there is a policy. The government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Education and the Act of Legislation, have a clear policy on who should be teaching at what level. So you should have a C certificate minimum to be an ECE and a primary school teacher. You should have a B certificate to teach at the junior high level. You should have a and BSc, prof. A and BSc to be able to teach at the high school level. So if you don't meet any of the requirements, you are untrained. While you're teaching, you're untrained. So if you look at the numbers across the ECE, you will see that if you look at 2019, you have about 9,075 trained ECE teachers. By 2019, you have untrained 5,649 in 2019. So you have a little, but for trained by law, all of our teachers should be trained. So even if you're having 9,000 trained and 5,000, that's bad. That's bad. So you should have 100% trained. So let me round up. Okay. So the number should be very small. If you look at our numbers, it's not small. Okay. And then don't also forget, sometimes one building is used at 3-4 classrooms. So those things are important. So I will just round up there. But
the collection of this data, the reporting of it, has been the exclusive activity of the staff of the Ministry of Education. There are no external input into the data collection. And that was deliberate. We need to get to the point where we say, this type of capacity is available with us. So from the onset, there will be some difficulties in getting the fine-tune. But now that we've done it 3 years in a row, I'm convinced that the fine-tuning is taking place. And when the data is anywhere above 80-85% accurate, that's good enough.
Can we stand and clap for the Ministry of Education, please? Wow. Please have your seat. Mr. Minister, I always say how proud I am of the dedication and the commitment that you bring to the table. You and your entire team of officials from the Ministry of Education. I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of His Excellency the President, because of the work you have done. When I'm walking all over the country and talking, I can be talking plenty about education because it is real. I am truly, truly happy that I took the time to come up this morning. I knew this was not going to be an ordinary day. I want to encourage our colleagues in the legislature, the both chairpersons on education, that seeing and hearing the details inspires us to do a little bit more.
We will ensure that every school in this country be able to meet those quality standards that creates the kind of environment that encourages learning, that encourages gender-based, free, violence school campus, that encourages a campus where teachers are not being bribed or taking bribe for grade or exploiting the students. So the quality standards have been developed. We are testing them. Some of our partners are already helping us. We are gradually addressing the quality standards, where some of the standards set up is to have a gender responsive and inclusive watch facility, because our girls need to be protected when they are having their month. Senator and Honorable Vice President, the planned total cost is $1 billion. It's now United States dollars. It's 900 and some more, but they just call it $1 billion. And the Vice President has done extremely well to commit the government, which is clear that over the next 5 years, the government initially have contributed $500 million to the implementation of the plan.
I represent the Catholic school systems in Liberia, as well as the Association of Christian Mission School Systems in Liberia. As we heard the minister responding, Minister Soni, responding to one of the questions, he mentioned that district education offices as well as county education offices are working across all of the schools in any given locale. Then I also want to ask, with this decentralization, which is, in my opinion, an excellent undertaking, to what extent the private schools in those districts and counties are going to benefit in one way or the other from this decentralization? Thank you.
To be very honest, and financially that is still difficult. Challenge number one is the minimum resources we need to continue to improve the system. The second challenge is how can we effectively manage the little that we already have.
But to say that if it's possible to take all other spending that are educational related, if we can take them from all other line ministry and bring them to the Ministry of Education or to the education sector. From a legal perspective, I would think that it is possible if we look at the legal ramification of of the organization of these entities and see their statutory responsibility and see how we can bring them in context of what they do as what the legislated them about, why are they existing, what are their functions in this society, and compare that to what is happening with the Ministry of Education and see how we can align and realign functions and activities of what we need to do that.
Is it possible for us to move all education spending to the Ministry of Education or under the education sector? From my public administration perspective, I would say no. Because bureaucracy or administration is created, all the bureaucracy for accommodation of relevant skills. There are people with different skills that must be accommodated. So moving to your real question about legalizing education fund or percentage that goes to education, right? We already are a signatory to ECOWAS protocol. So I think we should still remain to the ECOWAS protocol and keep moving. We can establish education fund. Part of the way also to do that is, I think we need to consolidate all the spending in the space.
You talked about accountability, but one very important piece I don't want our people to miss is our spending that is done under other institutions, under the auspices of the Minister of Education. That's key and vital, because according to the education law, everything for the sector, he as chair, it should be under his guide and command. All capacity building, all education spending. So the problem is, how do these institutions liaise with the Ministry of Education to inform him? I, at Foreign Affairs, have XYZ scholarships. Honorable Minister, is it okay if we do these scholarships in these areas? Because he has the direction of the sector. So he should say, Liberia is now prioritizing the sciences. I need XYZ amount of people to go learn geology, learn chemistry, learn this, learn that. I need this amount of doctors. That at current is not happening, which is the fundamental problem that we have.
The question we need to be asking ourselves is, how serious are we taking education? The other question is it that we don't have money, or we're not applying the money that we have properly? Our budgets are overinflated. They are being misappropriated. There's no accountability. So it's not that we don't have money. We have the money, we're just not spending it well. We're talking about sending money to the Ministry of Education. The lawmakers here putting money in the budget for themselves to fund the private projects. Let's see where we can consolidate those monies to support the ESP. So that's the first part. Then you're talking about the...
Mr. Mo, before you go further, let me just interspice it with the next question that says, how can we improve efficiency and equity in spending our educational resources? So you heard us speaking to that. So you just want to continue. Thank you.
Yeah, so there's a lot of wastage. How can we see public-private partnerships? I don't think we should be pushing to see private sector taking over the government's role. The government has its mandate, it has its function. So we are paying, for God's sake, every month the government costs 25% of our salaries for taxes. What's happening with that money? Where's the accountability? Why can't we ask the questions on that? So why are we now shifting the responsibility to private sector? I'm not saying there shouldn't be public-private partnerships, but we shouldn't be pushing a lot of this back to the public, the private sector, say, oh, come and partner, do this. Because what's going to happen is we will leave a lot more people behind. You will see, because if I get into it, I'm a businesswoman. The end result is I want to make money. I want to make a profit. So I will provide, I will spend less amount of money to get the maximum profit. And who's going to suffer it? The children. So we'll still be having this conversation 6 years from now, 8 years from now. We should be pushing our government to ensure that the money that they're raising, we're spending it well, we're allocating it well. We should start funding people private school projects. African Dream Academy received $95,000. Why? The senator of got money in the budget. I mean, why? We got needs here. We have people going on trips. They carry 50 people. How many schools can we fund with this? Is it that we have money or we don't have money or we just not spending it well?
Thank you.
We finance national program. It's not get the government budget. It's 3 ways. 1 comes from the budget, 2 comes from the donors, grant and loan, 3 comes from the private sector. It doesn't mean we're shifting government responsibility on the private sector. I give one example in Totota. Who are here from Totota? Some are here from Totota can give me an example. We have a business there, electricity business there, right? Within the PAPD, we targeted to expand electricity and reduce the cost. But it is a private sector that built a solar plant in Totota. Are they not supporting the government? When we counting the number of people that got electricity, we're taking credit for, the private sector is doing that. You're training nurses. You have more midwives, trained midwives in the hospital than ever before. We can boast of that. Is it only the government that is training nurses? No. So I'm trying to say that we're not shifting government responsibility, but we're finding alternative. And that alternative will be, we should not do it the same way.
I said it before and I'm saying it again. We should not be shifting government's responsibility to citizens who are already paying taxes. We shouldn't burden people even more. I'm speaking on behalf of the thousands of people who I see really cannot even afford the $500 for registration fee for their children. Then we come back to these same people again who can pay $500 to register their child for a whole year and say they should contribute again besides whatever taxes that you're paying. I don't think that's fair and I don't think that's realistic. Let's be realistic with ourselves on how we fund. We have the money. Let's just be accountable. Let's be transparent with how we are budgeting. Money is there. So let's be specific about that.
The great ideas suggested can come from us by the quality of people you elect. And it comes from everywhere. Even to the presidency, you have to determine if we say education is primary, it doesn't matter. Every single one of our political parties, everybody who's running, say education, education. But we have to insist in real terms what they mean and how they intend to achieve that. This is the best way we can support education.
I'm Leona Carlos Suarez and I work for the Carter Center. I want to know what is being done in terms of aligning their activities or their plans with the general, with the bigger goal of the Ministry of Education own plan.
As Carter Center, do you go to health or education and say, we got $1 million for education, how do we spend it? Or you already got it and say, this is where we want to spend it?
So I want to know what is being done when a particular sector or NGO comes to the Ministry of Education for sectoral clearance.
You as Carter Center, you go for sectoral clearance. Before that, do you go to education and say, we got $1 million for education, your plan around it, or you already have your plan aligned, you get one your sector clearance?
In addendum to Minister Koluba, but here is also the case. I work with the Ministry of Education. Every partner that we work with got a fixed project and program to implement. They don't come to the Ministry of Education as Minister Koloba is saying, now we got $1 million here. Where can we direct this funding? No. They come to you saying that we want to do watch in school and we get $1 million for watch in school. Or we want to do school feeding, we get $1 million for school feeding. Beyond that, there is the money that it comes to the ministry is not open to the extent for the ministry to decide. So the decision of where the money goes is based on the partner, it's not based on the Ministry of Education. Yeah. So for instance, most partners don't even give that money to the Ministry of Education. If you're doing a project for USAID, for example, school health, we did a COVID vaccination for USAID sponsored project. USAID did not give that money to the Ministry of Education. USAID said this is what I want to do, and they use UNICEF as a grant agent to implement that project. So they just come to the ministry as an implementing arm for us to complement and support what they want to do, not we deciding as to what we want to do with the money that comes to the sector. So it should be made clear from that perspective. Thank you.
I have the very tricky slot right before lunch where everybody just wants to leave, so I will do my best to be very brief. So I just wanted to talk a little bit today about evidence in policy making and use that as a way to introduce JPAL and how we might be able to support some of the work that you're doing. I know that we've spoken to a few of you in the room already, trying to understand what programs you have and trying to figure out if there's a space where we can support. So I'll just talk a little bit more about that. JPAL is a global organization. Myself and my colleague Lauren, who is here with me today, sit in our Africa Regional Office, which is based in South Africa at the University of Cape Town. Next slide. And from that office, we do work all across the continent. So we have projects, as you can see, in West Africa, East Africa, and in South Africa.
Next on our agenda is the roundtable meeting with education partners and stakeholders.
What we're trying to do more is to strengthen the senior secondary. The reason we're here is to determine whether the students are learning. And if they are learning, where are they learning? If they are not learning very well, what can we do to make them learn? All the other things hinge on those two. Please, let's hear you. The microphone is available.
We have 6 years of elementary. We have 3 years of junior high. And we have 3 years of senior high and 4 years of tertiary, which means we have the 6334 systems of education. We have 3 years, grades 1 to 3, which is lower elementary, where the students are giving an exams at the 3rd year, which is grade 3, which is very important. And I believe that we are supposed to be testing literacy, numeracy, competency at this level before they go to upper elementary. So when they go to upper elementary, which is grade 4, 5, and 6, we believe that those skills that they must master have been mastered so that we can have a very good systems put in place. That is why examination, I believe, the reason or one of the reasons why we're giving the examination at the 3rd grade level and then the 6th grade level before they go to junior high. And if these are carefully checked, I believe it is going to help our education systems.
These exams, beginning now and onward, they are the measurement of our learning ability. That is the reason why we are investing into it. Once anybody fails, we can talk about overage, then we will not think about quality. That means we can just put out anybody. What is the essence? You can come from ABC today, we say, okay, the man is starting education at 50. So let him just be in 12th grade or let him master degree. Will you perform? That is the essence. So I think the determining factors which we have agreed as the test for evaluation. This is why we are investing into the education sector.
My name is Benjamin M.O.E. I think I agree with the suggestion that to proceed to 10th grade, you must have passed the national exam. It's better late than never. We must be serious about how our children progress, and we must set bolder points where we are able to evaluate them. The minister made a suggestion, what do we consider passage? I am suggesting that since math and English have always been emphasized at senior secondary level, a passage from 9th grade to 10th grade should constitute math and English and any one subject, since we have students who will be going to the arts and students who are supposed to be going to the science. You must have passed either one of social studies or science, and then you are qualified to go to the 10th grade.
What we're trying to do more is to strengthen the senior secondary. If a student cannot pass the 9th grade 4 subject exam, now we need to define what pass is. You cannot go to 10th grade. Will it contribute to overage? Yeah, it may. But what's the use of promoting an overage who can't read? Who can't read? I leave that to you so that we can hear from across the table. Just that one first. The second one I'd like for you to think about now is when you get to the 12th grade, we are part of the West African examination pool. The conditions set for each student called a high school graduate. A high school graduate is a student who has completed the course of study 10, 11, and 12 and has sat the West African Senior Secondary Certificate exam and passed 5 subjects, including English and math, with credit. Then you are eligible for college or any higher institution of learning.
One thing we should look at too are the teachers that are teaching these children. Sometimes these children are under teachers that are not, are misplaced. So, I would like to suggest that while it is true that these children need to meet the required grades or do what they're supposed to do to go to those classes or be promoted, we should also work with the teachers.
So I want to speak to Representative Joseph Wabi's comment he made earlier. You know, when you have a principal saying that they can't even read, that is a shame, really. It's disturbing. I don't believe in social promotion. I don't think it's fair. You don't pass, you don't go. Perhaps some of us will go to school here. You don't pass, you don't go to the next stage. If you can't read, what is that about? So this is my suggestion. There's what they call ALC, Alternative Learning Center. If you can't pass that test, that West African test, then there'll be a place for you. I mean, maybe you're not college material.
As we set these standards, I want us to think about, one, the imbalances in the quality of delivery. Right? Are we saying that all junior high students in the Republic of Liberia, whether you are in urban cities, we are in rural and remote, are receiving the same quality? Can we knock our chest and say, yes, this is what is happening? Because we are judging them by the same standards. But it's the system providing that. We've come to the place where we right now we've moved to competency-based curriculums, which means that our students are supposed to exhibit skill sets.
So I would want to say that the students are not the problem. We are. Because they are the total outcome of what we are giving them. If I have a great teacher, I have a parent who is involved, I have what I need in school, and I'm supported, there's no reason why I will fail. So in as much as we want to set standards for our students, we need to set standards first for ourselves and those who are working with the students. Number one, we have been talking about professionalizing the teaching force. This action point here should be telling us that now, henceon, we are now beginning to stop the bucket from leaking, because a leaking bucket cannot get filled. So I believe that part of what we should move on with urgency is beginning to initiate teacher licensing. Number 2, can we find out why learners are failing in mathematics? Can we find out why they are not doing what they're supposed to do through other actions? So every census should have a system in place to go beyond the data to tell us what we should do as a way of intervening in the process of curtailing that.
All right. I think we are all coming to the same point. But we have to make a decision. Some will agree, some will disagree. But when the majority carries it, that's it. We need to first resolve that every child that is at the 3rd grade level and every child that is at the 6th grade level and every child that is at the 9th grade level must M.U.S.T. sit the public exam. If that is one of our resolutions, I would like a motion to that effect so that we can vote it unanimously and let the minute carry it, because some of these things we have to discuss it. I don't want for us to go and there are conditionality. If this happened, then that one happened. No if, no and. You must take the test first. Should you pass it? Yeah, but that's secondary. Take the test. We don't want the condition where students get to 3rd grade and say, oh, well, me, a small boy. Small boy in 3rd grade, you're taking the exam. The examination at the 3rd grade is strictly objective. It puts the student in motion to prepare them for 6th grade. Because at the 6th grade, it is not entirely objective. These are the conditions that we want to set now as we move forward. If we agree that all students at the 3rd grade, CEOs, the other people managing our counties, the second motion will be passing. But the first decision is it is compulsory that you sit the 3rd grade exam. It is compulsory that you sit the 6th grade exam. When our education system becomes very flowery and everything in place, then you don't have to bother 3rd grade maybe. But the other countries are doing, some of them do 2nd grade and all. What we want to do is to put the student in the frame of mind, not just to prepare for the test that the teacher draw. The teacher knows the student, the teacher relates to the student, the teacher teaches the student so that they can pass, and it is in his interest for them to pass. He can give them any test. He can even draw the test, get it, carry home standing and can take the test and make 100. When you provide an external assessment, evaluate the teacher. That's why we are saying it's compulsory. If that is unanimous, then I don't think we need to raise our hand. We just need to say, all of those in favor say yay. Yay. All right, the yay carry a no nay.
The first point I wanted to make is about what we fear is the politicization and weaponization of education. It didn't start today, but it's something that we have to work on. In politicization, there's nothing wrong with politics in school or in education. After all, it's a political decision to have education. That's something that we decided politically. It should be manifested in political party manifestos in all of our communities. But what I think we fear is the political particization, if there's any word like that, of education. I think we should protect our ministers. Our ministers are an important part of political parties, yes. And the parties would have appointed them to ensure that the platform on which the party was elected should be carried out. But the people who go in the field, from the, in fact, I would think maybe even starting with the assistant ministers, who are really technical people, should be technically competent people, to county education officers and the rest of it down to the teacher, should be protected from being forced to be members of political party to be able to be a principal or to be able to be a chief education officer. You do not have to be a member of a given political party. I think it would be a key point to mention in the ideas that we are generating.
And Senator Jesr, thank you for your observations. I'd like to go back to the actual educational impediments. I think that's where we were, and the minister was very much on course with that. Let me throw a question to all of us. Are all college degree holders necessarily teachers? I don't think so. No. Because you have a college degree does not necessarily make you a teacher in a high school or junior high school or elementary school. And Mr. Minister, with all due respect, one of the things we need to put in the policy, even if you have a bachelor's degree, regardless of the area in which you got it, you must go to develop skills training in teaching. There's need for still more decentralization. If a CEO wants to punish a teacher, he has to run to Moravia to go to HRO at the ministerial complex to hold pay. So payroll is handled by central office. CEO do not have control over who gets on their payroll and who gets out. And your deputy for instruction is sitting right here. He has been very cooperative. I went to him many times. Don't put teacher on mobile money. How would the Minister of Education pay teacher on mobile money? You deprive the CEO from monitoring that teacher. Because the man knows he's on mobile money, he leaves the classroom, he leaves the school, he leaves the county, his money is going, his mobile number every month getting paid. And I pleaded with the Minister of Education repeatedly to discontinue that policy, but as we speak, there are people still on mobile money. So some of the things that are hurting the schools are within the reach of the Minister of Education. So I want to thank all of you. This is my contribution to this conversation.
I will meet with my SMT and some of the controls that we have as far as the way staff, teachers and things who misbehave. If a teacher abandons class and you send the name over, you see, the problem is the payrolls are not decentralized. No ministry guided. The entire payroll is between civil service and Ministry of Finance. So even if I wanted to punish somebody, there's no way I can do it because I have to write a letter from my office to civil service, from civil service to finance ministry. The men are taking pay for 3-4 months already. That's the problem we have. That is the disadvantage of the direct payment. But again, when this system is strong, I think we can make modification in it.
Minister, I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak on some of these issues. And I just want to point out that the concerns you've brought forth to get our support on them are not new. These are things that have come up in several meetings and conferences we've gone to at WAEC and also at the ministry. The issue we have been faced with is the enforcement of these regulations. That has been the issue. You know, regular school supervision is key for efficiency and better performance of our schools in Liberia. How can a school personnel assigned in the morning at one institution takes a job in another institution being assigned as well in the morning? That's something to just think about. We are encouraging the M.O.E and all its related institutions to place strong focus on this aspect of the management of our schools in Liberia. I am sure many of us have noticed in our local communities how Friday is increasingly becoming non-instructional day, if I may put it that way. I invite you to take a walk in our communities on Fridays, and you will see what I'm talking about. This is one of the essential ways that we can effectively bring about a transformative education for national development and growth, the theme of the JESR. My people, talking about WAEC, talking about 3rd grade exam, 9th grade exam, 6th grade exam, we've spoken about them on countless occasions. It has only been left with us in the private sector to enforce. By now, we shouldn't be discussing this sincerely. Long we should have been gone beyond this to make sure that we go and supervise, knowing that those we find in the 10th grade can already indicate to us that they have passed the 9th grade exam. You leave that to us in the private sector to enforce it all of the time. And we are seen as ugly by parents and guardians, even when it comes to who graduates. These things, we are not enforcing them with regular supervision. Let us now start this, and you will see we will make our system better. Thank you.
I'm Nathaniel Cisco from the Grand Bassa School System CEO. Mr. Minister and the rest of the team, our honorable senators and representatives, we as CEOs have been ensuring that the public schools live up to the rules and regulations stipulated by M.O.E Central. If you were to look at the WAEC database this year, it will surprise you to know that most of something about 92, 93 of our 9th grade level, they are registered for the exams. However, I want to ask that SMT gave the CEOs the kind of support to make adequate awareness in the rough rural terrains, the unreachable parts where some of the 9th graders, the 9th grade classes are, so that those schools from those rough rural terrain can be part of the WAEC exam.
The registration for students to take the 9th grade exam should not be compromised. CEOs, you probably, when you get back, will provide the awareness, will provide whatever resources you need to get to your various radios and take these decisions across. Even if I have to ask WAEC to give us a few more days to make sure that students who did not get registered. But in 9th grade, if you don't sit the exam, we can't even talk about you passing because you got to sit before you pass. So that means just get ready to stay back in 9th grade. Even if you're 100 years old, you will stay in 9th grade. We will not even care about your overage business. You will stay in 9th grade.
When the minister asked the question that we should vote, obviously it's mandatory. But what is important here? What is the purpose of the exams that we give? What is the intended purpose? What do we want to achieve at the end of the day? Why do we minister the exams?
We know once you are operating school, the essence of it is to educate our children. And the beginning of construction is the time you leave the door to the houses. It is considered that once a child enters school, whether the curriculum is appropriate, whether the teacher is teaching, whether the student is bragging, the indicator for it is the external assessment, the evaluation. The output is what we are here to evaluate. How long do you want us to say research? So we prepare weak-minded people then at the level of 9th grade and 12th grade, we want them to be strong. These exams, you either pass or you fail. We must start something from the beginning. We must tell you, we are not here to counsel them to pacify somebody. This is the time now you begin to be hated by people. Like what the minister was talking. If my child that I'm paying money for went to school, the half physics instructor or chemistry instructor, and all of them fail, then we clap our hand for that one. Like the honorable senator said, brother in school, you buying grade, we as national dealer or country, we want to have you mentally prepared. We don't want to have you financially prepared from your pocket. Your grades should not be in your strength by working on teachers' farm or by paying how much you pay to get a grade, 1900, you score your 1900, the indication is the external examination. The point here, we must agree. We're preparing our children for our possible replacement tomorrow. Research can go on. The point here is when you fail, you fail. You should not go to the next class. Thank you.
With all of the conditionality we have had, what should we consider to be passing? And then next year you can scale it up and you can scale it up. But what do you think should be passing? The actual passing in that WIAC is 3 subjects. 3 subjects. Math, English, and any of the other 2. Should we modify that? And if we should modify that, we should modify that to what extent? Should we say 2 subjects minimum? What is it? Let me hear from you so we can pass on this.
3 subjects, math and English, compulsory, science or history or geography, period, simple.
My question is, should we decide, not leave the passing part yet, that every student that hits 3rd grade must be externally assessed after 6 years of school? When they reach to 6th grade, should they be externally assessed after 9 years of school? When they reach to 9th grade, should they be externally assessed after 12 years of school? And when they reach to 12th grade, should they be externally assessed after 15 years of school? That is the decision we want to make, so that we make sure that the word must compulsory form part of this conversation, so that the school systems and other people are in support of what we're saying. So no private school, no school system, no public school will allow their students to roll on without first registering them to take the exam. That is our position. Do we get your support on this? Then we can go. Let the minutes show that the yes is 99.9% and the 0.5% is drowned under the 99.5%. All right, thank you. That's the first part. If I'm teaching physics in school A and I send my students to take WIAC and all of them make 0 in physics, should I remain physics teacher in that school? Now, basically, we have to shift it 2 places. We are not putting the burden only on the student. We have to now show, and this is why we have to get legislative support, because if you are civil servant and you're teaching 50 students in physics and they go and all of them make 0 in physics, why should we keep paying you? The money we are paying that whole year is for nothing. Should we pay you because we owe you as a citizen? No. Because the job you're performing, you are not performing. Let's look at the student side. But let's look at the teacher side as well. The non-performance, let's agree no laboratory and all of that. But even in the absence of laboratory, what about geography? What laboratory do you need for geography? Now all the students have been failing geography. What about literature? Where is the chemical mixture in the laboratory class for literature? Now all the students fail. They fail literature more than they fail language, more than they fail physics. Should I, who teach literature, send 50 students to go and take WIAC, and all 50 of them fail literature miserably? Should you keep me? Private school, if you were paying them, you dismiss them the same day. The only people that have small problems will be we who got civil servant, and we gotta go through the people again to talk for us before we move them from the payroll. But even that, when we decide this, I will now pass it to the legislature committee to give us support, instruct the civil service that non-performance should not be paid. Here, because we have the civil service clause, they are protected. You can't do a thing to a civil servant easily. By the time they get to an investigation, the man had taken pay for 2 years. So basically, we need to come out of opposition and get these people to support us, that immediately Mr. Sony, his 50 students go for WIAC, all of them miss 0 and come back. Mr. Sony doesn't have a job. Go somewhere else. This is not your place. All right. Thank you very much. That's why we just wanted to let the ministers record that we have agreed that these classes must be compulsory. External examination is compulsory for 3rd grade, is compulsory for 6th grade, is compulsory for 9th grade, is compulsory for 12th grade. Now, let's come to 9th grade now. Let's decide 9th grade. 6th grade, 3rd grade, okay. Because you don't want to get too harsh at one point. But what about 9th grade? Do you believe that a 9th grader, let's assume the teacher didn't perform. But it's not true that the teachers don't perform, because we have been seeing the wire result. If the result was showing that nobody was performing, then we can say, well, let's check ourselves. But the result is showing that the majority of them are performing. What are we afraid of? So those who are not performing are the same ones who, when they get to 10th grade, going to 11, 12, they're going to be part of the flunks. They just increase our failing score. Or they find a way until they get to college some kind of way. So we need to use the 9th grade as at least the first checkpoint to start filtering students into a senior secondary school. Because we can't continue to pamper ourselves. Oh, we are catching hard time. We're doing well. And so when they reach the 12th grade, they just pass 2-3 subjects and we let them go to college. That's nonsense. We are hurting the country but with that compromise. You know both, period. Whether you were taught well or you were not taught well, we can't feel sorry for you because you know both, my people. I can get you money, but I can't get you both. You can steal money, but you can't steal both. So basically, we need to decide here, this tough year, this election year, that these decisions are being made and they will become accountable. We decide I want to start making mob about it. But basically, we need to decide these. For me, 9th grade CEOs, any 9th grader who does not sit, forget about passing year first, who does not sit the 9th grade exam, and a principal, whether private school, community school, in fact government school, I forget, it can't happen, accept that student and put them in 10th grade, we will get to the private school to dismiss that principal, and the government school, by their leaving, will dismiss you. Well, we will not dismiss you as a civil servant. Since you were a teacher before you became principal, we'll send you back to teach. And the CEOs have a responsibility to make sure that it happens. We place it on you as a burden. We don't want any child going to another class, 10th grade, and they have not sat the WIAC. They should sit the WIAC. Mr. Dave Boto have promised us that the exam results will be available before school opens for the next year. So even if certificate has not been printed, the result will be sent to every county to the schools before July. So as we are closing July, this result will be available. Let me appeal to you this time. I want for you to just accept this one appeal. We're all trying to beat it, but let's put small flexibility in the rigidity. So let me ask your permission, all you CEOs, for now, for this year. Next year now we can say math and English. But for this year, we are saying of the 4 subjects, you must pass 3 first. Those 3 must be any 3. We are actually hoping that those 3 will be math and English plus 1, or math plus 2 minus English, or English plus 2 minus math. Something like that, to let the students know that we're not against them, but we're trying to help them. That will send a signal to the 8th graders that are coming to 9 that look, it is getting rigid, we have to put our feet. And we send message to the schools as well. Thank you very much. I think we have exhausted this one.
In conclusion, results from the meetings was promised to be produced in hard copy and delivered to all stakeholders and partners.
On behalf of all our schools, we want to say thank you, Mr. Minister, and your team. Our participation tells us that yes, indeed, we are partners, and we can assure you that we will reinforce and carry on the decisions that are made here.
Senator Prince M.O.E, who is the chairman of the Senate Committee on Education, has asked us to thank you so much for the brilliance and the competence that are being brought to bear on this occasion.
On behalf of the CEOs, we want to say thank you for this all-important forum. It has always been our anticipation to participate in such a meeting that will sharpen us as we leave from here and get back to our various counties.
But I think we have spoken our minds. No need to ask some more.
Look, we are proud of what has happened so far. Are we where we wanted to be? No, of course not. We intend to digitize the whole education system. We intend to make sure that we can stay here and supervise what happens in the field. Those are coming along. But for now, where we have come, the foundation has been built, the ladders have been set, we're ready to climb. Thank you so much.
All hail Liberia, hail this glorious land of liberty shall long be ours. Though new her name, green be her fame, and mighty be her powers. Though new her name, green be her fame, and mighty be her power. And mighty be her power. And mighty be her power. In joy and gladness, with our hearts united, we shout the freedom of our race benighted. Long live Liberia, happy land, a home of glorious liberty by God's command. A home of glorious liberty by God.